Hey guys, welcome back to the media room. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Today we're going to get after the deep dive for the Dynasty mode. If you guys do enjoy the College Football 26 content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know what team we need to use for our very first Dynasty series in College Football 26. We are sponsored by EA, but I do have honest opinions that are my own. I want you guys to know that. As always, I do think they killed it with this Dynasty mode. I think they crushed it. Love to see it. There are some things that I really love. There's a couple logic things that I'm curious to see how they're going to do. Right off the bat, I think coaching is one of the things that you're going to see right as you start off. You can be Dan Lanning, you can be Lane Kiffin, you can be Ryan Day, you can be Steve Sarkisian, you can be anybody you want. You're going to get those specific abilities as well. You are going to get his specific abilities. You can do your own demeanor. You can look like a strength and conditioning coach out there if you want. You can have a half cut, shirtless, sleeveless shirt. You can do whatever you want. I think that was a good little touch there. But now the level cap is going to be for 100 for your coach. Is a big improvement from last year when it was 50 and I felt like we were maxing out. I think we maxed out our skill tree after 4 or 5 years of being really good. I know Fendler had on his channel a couple things where you could almost max out your skill tree by being an assistant coach. Now they've reworked a lot of that stuff, especially archetypes, by either choosing tactician, recruiter, or motivator. You are going to start in that path, and it is going to be hard to get out of that path. You can't be a jack of all trades, master of none anymore. You are going to have to specifically be one of those 3 things, or it's going to cost you a lot of skill points out of that as well. Higher level program archetypes like program builder and CEO will give you that bump in XP. But like I said, the catch is going to be that archetypes get expensive very quickly. It's going to cost a lot to jump out of those. Last year, we dipped our toes in a lot of different paths. But this year, it's going to be, if you're a recruiter, you're a recruiter, and you're going to get some good bumps out of it. You're going to get even some more visits possibly down the road, but you are going to have to stick with those. And I think that's a good thing in the long run for the game. I think it's going to make the stories for your own recruits, for your own coaches, is going to make it even better. But the big thing that I think that they're going to need to fix at some point, they claim that they have fixed this via logic. We'll see if it's going to be the case, is the coaching carousel. Because last year we were at OU, we won a national title in year 6, and we weren't getting any job offers. And I think that is one thing that adds to the longevity of the game. And I think that is one major thing to do something with. But now you actually get notified when your coaches are poached or promoted. It's not just to go in there and see, it's automatically on the big screen. And I think that's one of the things they did a lot of this year, is made sure that stuff is on the big screen when you advance weeks as well. They've also adjusted some of the logic behind coordinators. And if you are going to try and hire coordinators at your school, there are going to be a couple perks that are going to make it easier for you. And you are going to get to stack some of that XP, whatever tactician or archetype you hire, you are going to get a little bit more of an XP bump from those things. We'll talk about that a little bit farther on in the video. I think it's going to make it harder for G5 schools because there's going to be a lot of poaching, I bet. There's stuff like, thankfully, there's going to be stuff like Forever Home and Cream of the Crop. Those two that they have added, those 2 staff abilities that they have added, I think it's going to make it a little bit easier to keep some of your good coordinators. But the major thing, it's not only going to be the transfer portal for coaches, but it is going to be the transfer portal for players, because 2,000 players now can go into the portal at any given moment. Every single player's got a deal breaker. Playing time is a massive one this year. It doesn't even matter if playing time is the #1 deal breaker for your player. It is going to matter regardless. And it's not just going to be B- on every single deal breaker. They are going to adjust based on how well your player is playing. So if your player is playing well and he is worried about, let's say it's conference prestige or whatever it is, that will go up. His need for that will go up as it goes through the year. And if you can't meet that, he'll kick it out and he'll want to transfer. I think that's going to be a good thing. It's going to make it harder for those G5 schools. We had a running back named Ricky Hunt Jr., who's IRL running back. He won the Heisman for us as a sophomore. And I think that that's going to make keeping guys like that around even more difficult, honestly. Playing time this year is not just based on where you are on the depth chart. It's going to be about snap counts as well. There are going to be a couple different things that they have added this year in the skill trees, like lower the bar in family atmosphere, to make sure that you can try and retain some of those guys towards the end of the year, even if the deal breaker isn't met. But they did give us a lot of customization on the portal itself. How many guys go in the portal from the users? How many guys go in from the CPU? Even I think there's a slider for the max amount of players that are going to go in at all. And like we said earlier, redshirting is no longer going to be free for you to make sure that guys don't ever leave. Before they are recruited in the transfer portal, they are recruited as recruits. And one thing this year, proximity is going to be the big thing. Sometimes local recruits last year, they would cost 40 hours, no matter if you're trying to recruit them. You know, we were in Athens, Ohio. If we were recruiting a guy from Columbus or Wheeling, we were getting, you know, that was costing us 40 hours. Now, if we're recruiting local guys, that's going to be only 10 hours. That's going to be a big difference, especially if you're trying to build a local program. Last year, I had a couple ideas around videos for stuff like that, and I never did them. I think this year we'll have the chance to do that stuff as well, because now it won't cost as many recruiting hours. And you can also now unlock a perk that you can have up to 8 visitors in one weekend. If your staff is set up right, you can earn a lot of XP from those, because you can double dip those eight recruits all with a winning game. That will be a success. That will be a tool for success. They finally cleaned up scouting as well. There is now an ability in the skill tree to be able to see a player's dev trait while you are scouting them. You don't have to have them on a visit, and dev traits can go up from season to season. So if you have a player that's a normal dev trait, but he goes crazy on the year, he can go up from normal to impact. It'll be easier for those guys to go up from normal to impact than it will be from star to elite, but it will be one way to do it. The mind reader perk is the one that you guys will be able to get out there in order to be able to unlock dev traits before campus visits. And recruiting battles are a thing now. So if you're going head to head, if Ohio State and Michigan are going head to head for one recruit, you guys will basically unlock a little bit of a separate tier in order to see if you can push to get that recruit. And once he's committed, he's committed. There are no flips. I wish. One other major thing I think in 27 that we could find a way to add and not make it cheesy would be recruiting flips. I think that is one massive thing that I think that would be really, really cool to see. Progression has now been stretched out as well. And once you get those guys on campus, progression has now been stretched out. There are now 20 skill levels instead of 10. Players will develop more gradually, but you get to manually control those as well. It is a setting. You can either have it set on automatic or manual, and by default, 25% of that will be a little bit of a nerf in terms of how much overall skill points they earn, but you can change that. You can customize pretty much everything in any setting this year. I think that's one of the biggest things from Dynasty takeaways that I've seen so far is you get a lot of customization from wear and tear to portal recruiting to all that. There's a lot of customization. It's going to be in your hands. One of the things I think that they're touting, and I think is going to be good, but I'm curious in the long run how important it's going to be, is that players are gaining weight from their freshman year on. Basically, there's a bunch of different body types out there now. And what basically your player can now go up based on your athletic facilities. Your player can also improve in the training window based on what your athletic facilities are. And I think that's going to be a thing that helps the P5 schools and the P4 schools, excuse me. I still call it P5. The P4 schools instead of the G5 schools, because that rating is not going to go up for G5 schools very quickly. It's going to make it tough, but it's going to make it more rewarding in the long run. If you get guys that actually have if you're recruiting high dev trait guys, that stuff will really matter. Position changes are now going to be more realistic as well. When you move a player, they will only keep the abilities that make sense based on that player. So if you're moving a running back to be a wide receiver, he will keep the catching abilities as well, but he won't necessarily keep some of the stuff that makes him a good running back after the catch now as well. The wear and tear stuff is the biggest thing in terms of actual gameplay from the gameplay stuff that we've seen here, because season and career health are now a thing. Those season and career health bars that you guys see there are based on wear and tear. That bar, as your player gets more wear and tear in a game, that bar is going to deplete over the course of a season as it takes to get him back healthy. So if you overuse a guy, that bar is going to go down quicker and quicker. And as soon as that bar gets to empty, he can't replenish from wear and tear anymore. You can't just be able to run out guys all the time and be able to get it done. That's going to be hard, but you will be able with formation subs and with auto substitutions, as we saw in the gameplay trailers, you're going to be able to manage that stuff a lot better. Like I said, I think this all comes down to customization being king. You're going to be able to control your experience the way you want to. You are going to be able to have protected rivals in conference play as well. That's one other major thing that they have added. I think that all of this stuff in the long run is going to be great for the game, but my major thing is going to be the portal for coaches and the ability to move schools and whether or not those job offers will work. We had a guy in our Twitch chat suggest that you should only be able to apply for a certain amount of jobs, and then if those jobs want you, if those jobs are open, then they will offer you the job. I think that is an incredible idea. I would like to give credit to my Twitch chat for that as well. We are live on Twitch 3 to 4 days a week, and when we get CFB 26 in our hands, we are going to be streaming that thing like crazy. We're going to have 24-hour streams. We're going to have Dynasty content. We don't even know what Dynasty school we're going to pick yet. So let me know in the comments. Give me one player and one school as to why we should use a specific team. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys as always, and we'll see you guys in the next one.